I know about this program in Italy. They got Americans, Canadians, Australians there, and they're all getting signed to these Serie A, Serie B, Serie C clubs. And I thought, great, as a 19, 20-year-old, if I can get into Serie A, Serie B, Serie C, wow, what a great stepping stone that would be for my career. So he drops me the Facebook link of this program, and to my surprise, I go on the page, and there are these like 15 to 21-year-old players, I'd say, pop up with their shirts. So I looked at it and I thought, yeah, cool, looks legit. Bet. Let's go check it out. So I'm heading to Italy now. I get on a train to Milan, and then from Milan, I take another train, and then another train, which takes me to this place where the program is. The place is called Ovada, Italy. I kind of get off at the station, and I'm like, wow, okay, middle of nowhere kind of place, but fine. Look, I'm here to play football, not just to mingle around in a big city, but something is a little bit weird. Someone was supposed to pick me up at the station. I'm looking around and no one's there. There's no car. There's no one's come to pick me up. So I try texting, I try calling, and no one's answering, no one's picking up. So I thought, okay, weird, you know, maybe someone forgot, maybe there's a miscommunication, whatever. So with my bags in hand, I end up walking to the place where this program is, and I'd say it was like a good 30-minute walk. And I get a bunk, and now I'm sharing with like, you know, maybe 10, 12 other players in a room. Then dinner rolls around, spaghetti bolognese. Cool. We're in Italy. Lights off, the next morning rolls around and I go into the breakfast section. I'm going in there expecting like a breakfast buffet, you know, you can kind of pick and choose what you want, you know, fuel up for training. But first I get to the breakfast room and actually no one's there. And then I go inspect the buffet and it is not a buffet. All that was on offer were these like dry biscuits with a bit of jam. At this point, I was genuinely shocked. Weird. Well, let's see how the training is. So the training field is just next to the bed and breakfast, and we go to the training field. There's like 30, 35 players that step on the field, and look, the field wasn't too bad, but I did notice another weird thing, and that was a lack of staff. So a guy who took the session, which was not a bad coach, but there was only one of him and then like 30 other players. As a player, when you go to these, you know, programs and stuff, you appreciate different staff. Like you appreciate that there's a main coach, an assistant coach, maybe there's a physio there, but there just wasn't. There was one coach. The coach was actually good. The training kind of mediocre, just because there was so many players. You just, you know, when you have so many players and just one coach, a lot of the times it lacks that intensity, and that's how it felt. And the standard of players just wasn't exceptional. At this point, I'd been living in Europe like 5 years or so. So I knew what a really good standard was, and this just wasn't hitting it. And so now it's time to go back to the rooms, take a shower, and I start realizing the atmosphere is dead. Like I just could not feel the vibes. You know, you go into some of these camps and these environments and you can just feel the positive energy. Nah, man, this was dead. You just had players in their bunks that were kind of seemingly down and didn't really want to be there. I even heard one player on the phone crying to their parents. You know, what was worse, it was just one training for the day in the morning, and then when we're done, we weren't even allowed to use the gym, which was next door. There was a gym next door. We weren't even allowed to use it. Players just had all this time to kill. There was no ping pong table, like table tennis, foot volley. There was nothing really to do. And you're in this middle of nowhere in Italy. Dinner rolls around. Spaghetti bolognese. Again. And now I'm getting to know the players. I know Jake there. I know Bobby there. And they're all telling me like, oh, we've been having the same dinner for weeks. The next day, man, I'm thinking, geez, I'm on my last straw here. And I'm paying decent money to be here. And then I find out training's cancelled. Apparently the coach's mother had died, but because there was no one there to take the session, training was just cancelled. And that was the point when I thought, yeah, I'm out of here. Bye guys. The whole situation left me devastated for weeks. Honestly, I didn't want to play. And a few months passed when I was back home. I was scrolling through Facebook, and then I saw these pictures come up, and it was these players that I was training with that were holding up these shirts. And I thought, okay. And then it'll be kind of silent. I'd never hear from the players much themselves, and I got to know these guys for a few days. So then I realized, I see. And this is the whole secret to the thing. What the organizers of this program were basically doing in Italy were running this program where they'd have like 30, 40 players come from all these different parts of the world. These players, and probably most likely their parents, would be paying a few $1,000s a month for their kid to be in one of these places. And they found a location which I imagine was very low cost because it was in the middle of nowhere. And the organizers found a way to use this money and their connections to get players in front of these sponsor boards with the club presidents and into the youth or reserve teams of these clubs. And then, very key to this story, put the photos on social media of these successes. And the parents would see it, the kids would see it, I would see that, and it would create the perception of success. The cycle manifested itself, word of mouth spread, and that's how it brought in guys like me. Thankfully not for months or a year, but just a few days. And I think this is something that's not often talked about, these dodgy things that happen in these camps, these programs, and in sport. It's really, really disgusting. And later on, as the months and years progressed, I realized how many of these dodgy things happen. I've received countless stories from players and parents of their dodgy experiences within soccer, within football. What it did was inspire me to try to create a change. So when I envisioned our own camp one day, I thought it's got to have the following. The first being transparency, getting the hard facts, knowing if you're good enough, getting a report telling you what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and how far off are you to making it, really going through what your real chances are. The second being professionalism. I wanted an environment which would mimic the professional environments I trained at. 2 trainings a day, nutritious food, lots of coaches and staff on hand to talk to ask questions, to be mentored, to do masterclasses, strength sessions, just the entire professionalism aspect which you love to see. And thirdly, just being unforgettable, like a place you go to and you create memories for life, because that's what matters. It's those priceless memories that you never forget, and the things that I'm still thinking about of those experiences I had when I was 13, 14, 15. So I thought London's got to be the place, because London is vibes, and you do make memories for a lifetime in London, that's for sure. But yeah, that's how the story of our camps came about. As an aspiring player, going through what I went through, I hope we can create a change and create something which players absolutely love and want to come back to over and over again. And I hope we can change this culture of just selling false dreams, selling false hopes, selling false promises, because that is just not the way to go and everyone ends up unhappy. So yeah, my name's Nick Humphreys. I'm the founder and the creator of Train Effective, and I hope you enjoyed listening to Storytime today. I would love to hear your experiences. Have you had an experience like this before? Let us know in the comments, and can't wait to see you in the next videos. Peace and stay effective.